Well, for anyone who doesn't know, what are the origins of Jainism and what exactly do Jains believe?
Yeah, this is another one of those things where there might be a discrepancy between academics and people who actually practice it. But I mean, it's been around for thousands and thousands of years. I've read that it influenced Mahatma Gandhi, who was not Jain, but influenced by Jainism. I mean, if you think what a Jain extremist would look like, I mean, we're talking about someone who wears a mask always so that they're not even hurting bacteria in the air. Someone who sweeps the ground. Someone who sweeps the ground when they walk so that they're not stepping on insects. There are Jains who fast constantly, like harmfully so sometimes.
Are these the monks you're talking about, or an everyday Jain?
Usually we're talking about monks who do it like this type of extreme fasting. But I mean, honestly, my mom still fasts regularly. And it was something you were encouraged to do in our community as a child, like almost a week-long fast. I didn't do it, but like, or if not a week-long fast, then like a fast where you eat once a day and not anymore. But it's a lot of giving up stuff you want, giving up your comfort. So you want to eat, don't eat. You want to wear clothes. There are some extreme kind of Jains that are like, I'm wearing as little as possible out of a religious thing. And it's not that all of us do that, but that is, I mean, that's the idea here. You're giving up possessions on earth. You're giving up materialism. You're trying not to hurt anything. So you could see how that's a good idea, but also can be taken to extremes. But also, you know, one of the things that surprised me is when those new atheist books started coming out. I remember Sam Harris in The End of Faith actually said something like, you know, extremist religions are all bad. But if we were all extremist Jains, okay, I admit the world would not be such a bad place. It was weird to see someone reference like my religion that no one knew anything about and saying like, all right, that one's not as bad as all these other ones, which was a weird kind of shock.
Yeah, but it is strange when you think about it, why a god would put us on the earth with bacteria and insects that he knows we're going to step on, and then say, don't you dare step on them, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about that, it could get taken to extremes because you can't avoid so much of this stuff, and it's almost I mean, good luck trying to avoid some of that. And there's a guilt factor too, because if you do step on a bug, or if there is something in your house and you swatted a fly, like I mean, you can imagine that to a kid who doesn't know any better, that sort of guilt, that leads to a sort of like, oh my God, what have I done? Have I done something really horrifying or something? It can get kind of crazy too, because like all religions, like if you actually take what they're teaching you to its logical conclusions, it can get scary.
And is the religion growing? Is it shrinking? Or
I don't have the demographic numbers, but I can tell you anecdotally, I mean, a lot of the Jains I grew up with, they're practicing, but they make exceptions to like every rule. Whatever they like, it's not like they are strict Jains, but it's not necessarily like, oh, I'm going to avoid telling my kids about it. They're not doing that either. I can tell you there are a number of Jain temples across the United States. It's popular in a certain part of India, like the western section of India. I don't know if it's growing or not growing, but I can tell you, I mean, in terms of philosophy, the ideas that it stands behind, those kind of do get incorporated into a lot of cultures and other religions too. So whether or not it's growing, there are communities of Jains, and like so many other immigrants and other smaller religions, depending on where you live in America, like Chicago has a huge population of Jains. There are parts of New Jersey and Texas that have huge populations of Jains. California, too, I think. Like, there are places where we have clustered because our communities were always there.
Is that why your parents moved to Chicago?
It's not why they moved there, but it certainly was like a lot of the people that they immigrated with have ended up living here. And jobs kind of take people in different places. But certainly through my dad's job and stuff, we ended up moving here, and I'm sure whatever else was happening in their life, they didn't mind coming back to Chicago or a part of it because they knew family, friends were going to be around.